The Black Death, the true story of the plague that wiped out half of Europe. Origins of the catastrophe. The Black Death, one of the most devastating pandemics in human history, had its origins in Central Asia in the 1330s. Recent multidisciplinary research involving historians, archaeologists, and geneticists has pinpointed the source to the region around Lake Issyk-Kul in what is now Kyrgyzstan. Tombstones from 1338 to 1339 in this area bear inscriptions referring to a mysterious pestilence, and DNA analysis of remains confirmed the presence of Yersinia pestis, the bacterium responsible for plague. This strain was positioned at the node of a massive diversification event of plague strains, essentially serving as the ancestor strain for the Black Death that would later ravage Europe. The bacterium likely emerged from plague reservoirs in wild rodent populations near the Tian Shan Mountains, before spreading to human communities through flea bites. The path to Europe are. The disease followed trade routes westward, reaching the Black Sea port of Kaffa in Crimea by 1347. During a siege by the Mongol Golden Horde army, infected corpses were reportedly catapulted into the city, one of history's earliest alleged instances of biological warfare. From Kaffa, Genoese merchant ships carried the plague to Mediterranean ports, with the first European outbreak recorded in Messina, Sicily, in October 1347. Eyewitness accounts describe horrifying scenes as ships arrived with most sailors dead or dying, their bodies covered in black boils oozing blood and pus. Sicilian authorities hastily ordered the death ships away, but it was too late. The plague had gained a foothold in Europe. Chakra the three faces of death. The Black Death manifested in three terrifying forms. 1. Ombradi, bubonic plague. The most common form, characterized by painful swollen lymph nodes called buboes in the groin, armpits, and neck. Victims suffered fever, headaches, vomiting, and dark blotches on the skin from subcutaneous bleeding. Mortality rates reached 30–75%, with most dying within 4–8 days. 2. Pneumonic plague. An airborne variant attacking the lungs spread through coughs and sneezes. With a 90–95% mortality rate, it was even deadlier than the bubonic form, septic plague. A blood infection causing disseminated intravascular coagulation. Almost always fatal, 99–100% mortality, and it was the rarest but most horrific form. The great mortality spreads from Mediterranean ports. The plague spread like wildfire across Europe between 1347–1351 through trade routes and human contact. Major cities fell one after another. Paris and Bordeaux by mid-1348, London by June 1348, arriving via Gascony, France. Florence's population dropped from 120,000 to 50,000. Half of Paris's 100,000 inhabitants perished. The speed of transmission was terrifying. As Giovanni Boccaccio wrote in his Decameron, people healthy at bedtime could be dead by morning. The pneumonic form spread particularly quickly through crowded, unsanitary medieval cities. Death toll and demographic impact estimates vary, but the Black Death likely killed 25 to 50 million people in Europe, 30–60% of the population, reduced England's population from 6 million to 3 to 4 million, wiped out approximately 1,000 villages in England entirely, claimed 33% of the Middle Eastern population. Recent research suggests mortality was uneven across Europe, with some areas less affected than others. But overall, it took 150 years for Europe's population to recover to pre-plague levels. Torsid evil responses and misunderstandings. Without knowledge of germ theory, not discovered until the 1800s, medieval people struggled to comprehend or combat the plague. Medical theories. Imbalance of the four humors, blood, phlegm, black and yellow bile. Miasma, bad air, from waste and poor sanitation. Planetary alignments or divine punishment. Treatments attempted. Bloodletting and lancing buboes, drinking pus from burst buboes, applying mixtures of tree resin, lily roots, and human excrement, wearing beak-like masks filled with herbs, plague doctor costumes. Quarantine, first implemented in Venice in 1348 for 40 days. Religious responses. Flagellants publicly whipping themselves to atone for sins. Increased persecution of Jews, falsely accused of poisoning wells. Rise of mystical movements as faith in the church wavered. Societal and economic consequences. The Black Death's impact extended far beyond mortality. 1. Labor shortages. With so many workers dead, surviving peasants could demand higher wages and better conditions, beginning to break down feudal structures. Economic upheaval. Trade initially slumped, then transformed as labor became more valuable. Many landowners were ruined as cultivated land decreased,